He's a mas yeah, he's a master teacher, and also he's clinically so sharp and teach so well, and he's always encouraging with humor. I remember him playing fun jokes with Jerry Mauer when he was presenting, and he's at the back of the conference room. He's pointing with a laser pointer and with all kinds of funny uh, uh, images and disturbing Jerry Mauer's PowerPoint. And he is so good, and we all love him very, very much. And I am so impressed that he gave a talk to us regarding not only echocardiography, but in as a clinician, what is important. And
Right.
he gave a talk on guideline and guideline, and uh, and remind us and to extract the more important, relevant things in clinical data and also in echo. For example, his comment on PISA, and he is so daring and against all the prevailing trend and speak up what he believes. And most important, he's always right. And so we love him so much and we miss him so dearly from all our folks and our organized committee in Hong Kong. And I wish his family. I met his daughter and son, and in Hong Kong, we've been in a Peak restaurant, and so I hope that the family would stay strong and stay well, and Nat will be in our heart forever. And his humor, his jokes, and his teaching, and his advocate will be remembered and will be with us always.
It's a beautiful share. Thank you for that heartfelt message. Dr. Lau, I don't think I met you previously. I know that Dr. Pandian used to talk about it, and he said you should come to Hong Kong one of these days, and just hasn't happened. Um, but
Yeah,
thank you for that
actually,
beautiful message.
supposedly we shall have Echo Hong Kong this year, 2025, every 2 years. Uh,
Right.
Unfortunately, our co-director has been sick also, and Bijoy Kandari was one of our co-director also. So we miss him, and also Nat, and we have another uh, co-director, and my good friend also had some major illness and the hospital facing a lot of uh, uh, re major issues, so that we temporarily withhold at Hong Kong this year. But somehow then otherwise it should be held in November every 2 years. And but we all miss Nets, and I hope I could see you and all of you in other uh, future meetings, be it in Hong Kong, in elsewhere. And we all love Nets very much.
Absolutely. I think we've collected about 15 participants, Madhavi.
Oh,
Do you want to
did
just
we?
maybe go ahead and sort
Okay.
of give a preface to the meeting and what your agenda is, or and how we're gonna.
Yeah, no, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. I know, Nat meant so much for all of us. And, I'm Madhavi Karyala. I think many of you might know me, some of you may not. Like many of his trainees. And I met Nat when I was a fellow. And, he he had I was a fellow in another program, but he was giving us a talk in Echo Jeopardy, and it was just one of those amazing lectures with the 3D images, and we instantly connected. And I then went along to Boston to Tufts and rotated with him. That sort of started a chapter in my journey where I became so. Fascinated by images, and my journey in imaging and academics is really inspired by him. So there's so much I can share and all of us can share, but I wanted to bring together everyone so we can remember and have a space for this heartbreaking loss that we are all experiencing and grieving along with the family. I know many of us are connected in the WhatsApp group. I think some of us are were not, and we try to pass on the message to them. So what I would suggest is that I put some of the pictures that some of the videos that we've shared over in the messages into a PowerPoint, but more as a prompts. But really, it's a spontaneous gathering of memories, and we want to acknowledge many of you know Nat for many years. So my what I would suggest is we'll take a minute to silently remember as a group together, and then I can share the next parts of the slides. Let's take a moment. So last week, when we heard the news, it was, quite. Although we knew that he was not well, it's still the news still came as a quite a shock for many of us. And I have to acknowledge Lissa. Lissa and I um, were able to share our grief together. Lissa had come to Boston. I'm at Tufts Medical Center now, and Nat had left his many of his collections with me in my office, and we together scanned some of those images. And I know some of the stories. Lissa knows some of the stories, I think, but here many of his collaborators who have known his trajectory much longer than I do probably know more. So I wanted to share start with sharing some of these, and then I think Dr. Nasser shared some pictures, so um, I can just move through it. And if there's something that a story you want to share, just raise your hand or join in. So this is a picture, I believe. Lisa, you may want to share. I know you probably were there at the time.
No,
This
I
is
think this predates me, but I do remember um, the Echo Machine, and I think this was an opportunity for the kids to understand a little bit about Echo. And you can see Pari, his son, in the background, if you want to put just point, and Kanahi there with all the kids. So I thought this really, and I had never seen this picture before, and it was in his collection, but it really represents
yeah.
um, how Nat is so generous and sharing of knowledge even with kids. So
100%. And we found many of these clippings. And while I knew that he was a pioneer, but these are from the 1993 and clippings that show how he was really along with Bernhard. And Bernhard, maybe you can share more on this. That truly, this was where the 3D TE was innovated and pioneered, and it's described as fantastic voyage through the hearts, and how you can go inside the heart and look at the valves and endocarditis. I mean, nowadays we all take it for granted, But I think in the 1993s, maybe Bernhard, you can share more about that part of the chapter.
Yes, and actually, it was Johann Nesser's responsibility that we got in touch with Nat. I think I looked to my folders and I found a letter from Nat Pandian to us from January 1992, where he wrote to Tomtec, and Tomtec was a very small group of people. We are all sitting in the same room, and we got 5 letters from this Dr. Pandian from Boston to each of us. And so I responded to him, and this was how everything began because Nat has seen a talk from Professor Wollschläger at the Bad Hofgastein meeting from Johann Nesser about the beginning of 3D Echo, the Echo CT. And this was just a kind of explanation of the idea. And he was so excited about the idea. So he wrote us this letter and I responded. And then he invited me to the Canterbury meeting. At this time, this was before St. Wolfgang was being invented and so on. So I met Nat the first time in April at the Canterbury meeting, and then I came to Boston with our EcoCT system. So we shipped it there, and I think we shipped Berthold with the system, and Michael Kraus. They've been all with us with this small group of people, and Nat was really our first user, more or less. He was so excited, and we made the first patients in his lab at Tufts. And I think then a little later, Lisa came to this group, and she was then actually stealing Michael away from us, Lisa. Now you're married since whatever, 30 years, or I don't know, 25, huh?
30.
And yeah, and so Berthold was part of this initial group, and since then we always collaborated with Nat, and he was actually the first one giving talks and lectures in the United States about 3D echocardiography, and he helped us a lot, and he helped 3D echo really to take off and be what it is today, because the first, to be true, is the first 5 years. Only a handful of people believed in 3D, and we got was MRI will take over CT and 3D echo has no future and so on. But Nat always believed in that. And he was really then publishing and publishing, and he was then torturing his research fellows, Lisa, to make abstracts and posters at the conferences and talks. And at this time of in the beginning of 3D Echo, one reconstruction took about 25 minutes. And then you figured out, oh, it's wrong. It's not what I would like to see, or it was not good. So another 25 minutes. And so a night was very short. And probably Lisa remembers, and Berthold as well, how many nights we spent in Nat's lab. Everybody was gone. Nat was there, and it's not good enough. We need to do it again. And so he was really pushing us to the limit, but it made us all then successful at the end.
Yeah.
May I add something to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because that Nat could see these first 3D images in Austria at the Bad Hofgastein meeting. This is a village close to Salzburg. And before I met Nat for the first time in Innsbruck, where Jerry Maurer had a meeting for TEE and invited Nat to that meeting. This was at the 90 round. And there I got to know Nat. And he was very excited when I told him that I have an ongoing meeting with future aspects, cardiovascular ultrasound and interventional cardiology. And at that time, he already had his running meeting in England, mostly organized by Manny Vennan at that time. And so it came to the point that we said, why not to cooperate? And first to start with a co-director in Bad Hofgastein. And some years later, Nat decided to quit the conference in Canterbury And I, due to several reasons, also in Bad Hofgastein, and we started with St. Wolfgang. But as Bernhard said, it was Mr. Wollschläger and the 3D images which influenced my whole life and to my friendship with Nat and his family.
Bertilde, do you want to add anything? You were here with the...
Yeah, if I speak about my life with Nat, so it's lasting now 30 years. And we came to close, very close also with our families. And the point is that Nat was, like me, addicted to echocardiography. He was a hard worker. And on the other hand, as you already mentioned, with the first image, which I would like to have, this one with the family at the echo with the children, he always tried to bring the children with Nilla and Pari. And as you may know, that Nat has his birthday in June. And for many years, June was the meeting time for St. Wolfgang. So we celebrate the birthday of him always there and had much fun. So here is Nilla in the center, Carnegie, of course, and Pori. They all have been in St. Wolfgang several times. And as just to tell you maybe unknown story, Nat also was excited to do things he had never done before. So, for instance, when he was in Brazil, in Rio, he flew down with a dragon and a co-pilot from the mountain, and which I didn't do before because I have an air disease. So it's tough for me to do it. But in St. Wolfgang, they offered to me if some of the faculty would like to fly down from the so-called Zwölferhorn, which is a mountain at the lake. And Nat was the first to say, I want to do that. And so with Jos Roland and Nat, we went up, and also with the wife of Jos Roland, up to the top of the mountain. And Nat started to fly, and the next was Jos Roland. And on the way up, Jos' wife asked the co-pilot, how often did you do that flight? And he said 25 times. And then at the top of the mountain, we all went out, and Martin, her name, he said to Jos, you know that you have 3 children. And Jos didn't answer. And when it came to the point that he should arrange the strings and everything, he gave the package to me and said, Joachim, you fly, you know. So he was not in the position to do it. So Martin was happy. And I, for the first time in my life, had to do that flight because it was very costly. It was about $500 or $1,000 or so. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And we had a wonderful flight, and in a beautiful sunny day. And that now the story I wanted to tell is that afterwards, Nat and me were excited and told this to everybody. And then Carnegie said, okay, I also want to do that. And Nat said, no, you're not allowed to do it. It's too dangerous. But Carnegie didn't say anything. But with Ricky, my wife, they ordered also a flight, and they went up to the mountain, and Carnegie started this flight. And with the co-pilot, you have to run from the top up to the Essie or Embassy, just to the clip, and she fell down, and the co-pilot also fell down, and they could stop immediate before the mountain stepped down. So it was really dangerous, but she was so strong that they started again, and then it worked. And afterwards, they were very happy to have done the flight. After that flight, they never did it again. This was one of the trips, and for me, we had then wonderful trips by invitation of Fernando Morcef to Brazil. We were together at the Thousand Islands area, and another one was a trip in northern India, in Rajasthan, with the whole family or both families together. And there's also an anecdote. We were there on New Year's Eve, and we had some reserve of alcohol. Nat brought some red wine and champagne, but until New Year's Eve, everything was gone. So we had there the evening there, and Nat, as you know, his favorite was red wine, and so he ordered red wine. So they didn't have anything, but just had white Indian wine. And so Ned said, "Okay, let's take us this white wine." And the waiter came, and we started to say cheers and so on. And the first sip, we were stunned because it was undrinkable. It was so really bad that we could not drink it. And as Ned, and this is typical for him, he always tried to have fun from every situation. He said, "Okay," and he looked for the neighbor table. There was a British couple, and he did white wine and said, "We want to invite you for New Year's Eve for this wine, and you can drink it." And they were very happy to drink it. And they said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a really wonderful wine." So even this bad Indian wine was even better than the British wine at that time. Now I've been in India. They have now good red wine, yes. And the most impressive trip with the families were Nila's so-called Indian wedding in that hometown of Nat, which is called Normacal. And this was really impressive. It was a marriage for 3 days. And at the last day, Bernard also was there, and Petros and Neanopoulos. We had been in, I will never forget this, in a temple with fire and a priest, and the ceremony was really mystic and really impressive. So we'll never forget these trips, but there are also many reasons not to forget Ned. For me, he was really one of my lifetime friends, and I will miss him until to the end of my life.
Thank you, Dr. Nasser. I think we have some pictures. Probably many of these are from St. Wolfgang here.
Just to comment the pictures, and Ned had also some mentors, and he always pointed out to Pravin Shah, we just have seen. And the photograph at the right-hand side, bottom, here, this was also a wonderful scenery, because the best cardiologists of the world at that time could be gathered in St. Wolfgang. On the left-hand side is Eugene Braunwald, who was there with his wife. And on the right-hand side is Dr. Carpentier, the first surgeon who invented mitral repair surgery. So what we had there was a really high clinical standard, but all the people and the colleagues worldwide known there. We had presidents of the ACC like Tony De Maria, and later on Bill Sockby. Here is Bill Sockby on the left-hand side, and particularly Cronson, And the other point is Nat was a hard worker, but he also loved so much partying and have fun and drink wine. And so he always started to motivate the colleagues to sing operas. And Cronson always started to sing operas, Italian operas, and the others tried to do that. The second is John Gorson on that side. So this was funny there all the time. And this is good that you show this picture because on the left-hand side, to my opinion, the most closest friend to Nat was Stefano de Castro. He is dancing with my daughter, Karin, and Stefano. They had really a wavelength together because they had the same living style. Also, Stefano was a hard worker and very future orientated, also did a lot of with 3D. But on the other hand, they had, unfortunately, they both were heavy smokers. And unfortunately, they had almost the same life as he was that one of our group who died first. There is really, it's a pity that, or it's really amazing that a number of colleagues being in St. Wolfgang for many times are not here anymore. Also, Cronson has died, Mark Monaghan has died, and Roberto Lang has died. So it's really a tragedy because they were so wonderful and professional colleagues. And just you had on the right-hand side, Jamil Tajik. He's also one of those he respected very much as Pravin Shah, and they were good friends together. This is the famous chapel of St. Wolfgang, where usually in the evening all came together and spoke about the world and echo. For instance, here is Cronson's wife, and here is Bill Sockby. And Cronson, is not with us anymore. Here is the typical, and Cronson was really the auditorium and the members, and over the years we had several thousands from more than 40 countries. But they always ask also for Cronson because he was a perfect teacher, and he also for the faculty had his wonderful stories of his life. And he also wrote novels about that. For instance, maybe you all know the stories where he brought a painting to the museum and they closed the museum and he couldn't get out. And he went to the roof of the house and everybody thought he wanted to get suicide. So a number of stories. And Nat enjoyed this scenery so much. So echo, 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 but then sit together with friends. And here is another one, Navinanda, over the years. And here is Bijoy Kanderia, also not with us anymore. And Navin is still with the world conferences, but they both together were a team, and particularly in the conferences. And here is Kanta. She's always on his side. And they had wonderful times in Salzburg too. And here also Tony De Maria, Jamil Tajik, Jim Stewart. These are legends of the pioneer time of echocardiography. And Nat is a hero. And I'm thankful that it was possible to have him as friend. Now you see the wonderful pictures of Franco Falleggia. Up to the last years we were together and had meetings with Nat. This was, I don't know, one of the beaches. And these are not any more photos of mine.
Yeah, I think Dr. Lau had shared some Echo Hong Kong conferences. Dr. Lau, if you want to talk about the Echo Hong Kong.
Hi, thank you. This is some of the ECHO meeting in 2003, and Nat enjoy life and party, and we appreciate his main faculty role. He's instrumental in the success of Echo Hong Kong. And we have, let me talk about some light side of his, of about Nat. He like to enjoy life and party and drinks, of course. We have live demonstration here. We have live TE and live transfer echo, and then broadcasting to the conference room, either in the hotel from a hospital or in the neighbor next in the venue nearby. And so one day, in the live TE, we have to intubate the patient, and we have to put them into different cubicle with screen. And one morning, when we try to enter behind one of the room with a screen, we found someone lying there, subconscious or total out of consciousness. And we thought he is one will be going for the model for live demonstration with pathology, almost tried to intubate him. And then turned out that was Nat sleeping there after a good night party and a good night drink. He he basically slept on the couch, and then we almost intubate him and put him onto the screen and broadcast to the conference room. So this is one of the guidelines that Nat give a talk, and we appreciate very much. He teaches more than echocardiography. He teaches about all about clinical the concept, and also the wisdom that he will share with us that we learn. And the whole conference is basically want to translate the better application echo for better patient care. And Nat is instrumental. Now, in this picture, you can see Jerry Mauer, you can see other major faculty here. Bijoy at the far end, and some of the major faculty. So also of Echo Hong Kong, he's giving a talk in this is in 2017, the 11 Echo Hong Kong, that he's talking about this is a Ten Commandment that he gave talk, and always gave excellent talk. And he is such a wonderful person and master teacher, and he will always stay with us in our heart. And of course, it's a party, and the last time in 2023 November, he was with us and with other faculty from Asia Pacific region. So we remember him. He'll stay with us all the time.
Dr. Lau, when did you first meet Nat?
That was 1999. That's second Echo Hong Kong biennial Echo Hong Kong that I invite him to the Echo Hong Kong meeting. Actually, I think if I remember correctly, is that from Bijoy and brought him in. Bijoy was with us in 1997, and then he joined our Echo meeting, and then he recommended Nat, and then and I invite Nat to he will join us 1999. So that was 27 years ago.
Yeah, this is a very interesting side. I know, and Nat used to always be so practical. I mean, yes, all the science, but then it also had to translate into practical day-to-day wisdom, right? And yeah, all these measurements that he was quite critical about the number of measurements that we were making, and ultimately it had to convert to something that we could use practically.
Exactly, yeah.
This was the Hope Conference in 2023 with Alyssa here, Dr. Pai. Dr. Pai, do you want to share any comments?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Madhvi, for organizing this. It was such a privilege knowing Nat. I first met him through my mentor, Pravin Shah, back in 1987. I was presenting an abstract at a AHA meeting, and Nat was presiding, and I never come across somebody that funny, and he was making jokes. Though he was presiding over the meeting, and that was unusual. I've never seen that before. He is very funny that After my presentation, there was another presentation. It was doing some automated measurement on something a ship model. There were six ships, and there were actually 20 authors on that abstract. They said, said some names and all the citizens of this city, so and everything. Then after the meeting, he came back and told me maybe they should have put the ship's name as well as co-authors, on that paper. It was so funny. Not in the public, but he mentioned that. And I visited his lab in '87. Very impressive because he was doing so much innovative work. Even in '87, I think he had just started at Tufts, New England Medical Center. Then I had the distinct privilege of working with him in 1992 on the Echo CT 3D Echo, the lobster probe, lobster tail probe from Tomtech. Actually collaborated with him. I was working with the Prevent Shah. I had just started as faculty at Loma Linda and Navin Nanda, and we pulled cases together in 1992 and had several abstracts, learned a lot. And, he had such a passion for the 3D, and he continued the work. And I remember at every meeting, he would have 20, 25 abstracts. And everything innovative, all the applications, all of practical value. Like Madhvi said, he wouldn't do anything unless something has a immediate practical value, clinical value, or the field grows. And over the years, we have been collaborating. I've been at his meeting in Hogue and learn a lot. It is such a wonderful gentleman. He's a mentor, he's a friend, and so unassuming and so much fun to be around. And truly miss him. He is a legend, irreplaceable, and hopefully we can continue his um, his presence through our WhatsApp groups and other modalities, even at meetings, and having some sort of a event which continues the legacy of Dr. Nat Pandian. Would love to talk about how we can continue that and actually continue celebrating him for because his contribution to echo and even the field of cardiology, valvular heart disease, HOCM and everything legendary. I think by continuing the work and celebrating that, I think it would be a justice to what he has done and contributed over all these years. So I've known him for 38 years, but still, would have loved to be with him for longer. But it is such a privilege knowing him. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Ramdas. I want to share another nugget. I met him during a conference, and as I said, he invited me to Tufts to learn 3D Echo. This was back in 2006. And I had just gone to Germany to learn cardiac CT. And we had, and I came back, and of course, Nat is a legend. I'm a, second year fellow, and but he was like a kid learning and so curious about cardiac CT. He made me go through all of the technology and explain to him. And it was I didn't feel like I was a student at the time. We were like co-students learning from each other, and that's how he made you feel like he. It was just amazing. I never felt I was a trainee and he was teaching, but it was always like co-learning. We are in it together, and that was the spirit. I think he was just tremendously curious and extremely humble and just generous. He would take. I mean, I was in Boston in the middle of the winter. He would take me out on restaurants and even to the Celtics game once. So that was just his generosity. And he had invited me to the echocardiography conferences in Austria in 2009, and I was just newly minted faculty, and he gave me 7 talks, and I was like, that confidence that he had, I think, was enabled me to like believe in myself more and really become even more passionate about these subjects. And the way he nurtured younger faculty and motivated them was just him with his generosity of spirit and curiosity, he could just light up a spark in people. Here are some more images. I wanted to share and of the many trips, I was very fortunate to also go on some fun trips, and he loved dancing. And I just wanted to share one of the clips from his trip to Rajasthan. And
Wow, he is a pro. Dances better than her.
This was a
One of the biggest things about Nat is that he just loved life. He he wanted to soak it up. He loved the music and dancing and
La vida è dura.
right.
Yeah, it was spontaneous. He just the person who's a professional dancer called him and he just went and started dancing.
That,
You know,
is that Nat? When was it taken?
I think this was and I would love to hear from where we found it in his collections. I think it was from one of his echo conferences in Italy, probably. But I'm thinking it's a prank rather than a real one. But I think he just highlights and illuminates his philosophical side, and it looks, this Socratic picture. I just love this. But yeah, if anyone wants to share, Carrie, I see Carrie is on here. Carrie is a long-term partner at Tufts, and maybe you have some stories to share. I don't think Carrie's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
there
I'm
he is.
here. I'm here. Um, First of all, Madhvi, thank you for organizing this. Um, I come from a different world. Obviously, I'm in the cath lab. I worked with Nat for like 20 years, and so many stories. But I think what I would like to say is that you know, um, we were all his fellows. In one way or another. Even if we're older or younger. I met him when I came to Tufts in the very early 1990s. And, he would stop by my office to discuss cases, to get my thoughts as a clinician, which is something that I think really goes appreciated about what a good clinician Nat really was. Um, I also want to say that, he really was and is the consummate teacher. He and two other points that relate to this is that when Nat made a mistake, when he was wrong, unlike so many other people, he took ownership of that and he would say, you know what? We have to publish this so that other people can learn from our errors. That is such an important part of what we do, and it goes to his humility and how humble he was. Um, and, the other point that I'll make that I know everybody understands about him is that he really was the most generous man I ever met in my life. Not just with his knowledge and his teaching, but the things that I saw him do for people that he really barely even knew. Just amazing. And I know that I'm a lover and a collector of wine and know a little bit about it. And we would, I would always, when he would come to Boston, always tell him, let me know ahead of time so I can take you out for one of my favorite BYOB restaurants. And I think I went one time with him and Dr. Nessa, and I was sure to bring some Austrian wines and whatever. But anyway, those are my thoughts of Nat. Just so humble. What a great teacher. What a generous man. And always, would look to listen to what other people's thoughts were. Because, even being the great teacher that he was always a student. So, again, thank you, Matthew.
Very welcome. I wanted to share some more personal pictures. We mentioned before how he brought together families, friends, and scientists and clinicians. But he also encouraged us to bring our children in there. And this is my son Manu with the conference in 2009. And what was really incredible was he could be a child with a child, and then a friend when he was a teenager. My son to this day adores him, and he just is someone who's so generous with his time, and was happy to connect and share wisdom with the beyond his mentees with their families too. Just this is a picture in Delhi for a cardiology conference here. He's posing like one of the Lord Vishnu, and we would have some funny conversations about, how we could potentially start a commune in India with the philosophical conversations. I know there are some Dr. Alagason and Dr. Alagason, would you like to share any of the Indian stories?
Thank you, Madhavi, for organizing this. I've heard all the people talking so nicely about Pandian's teaching. Everything is known and is very friendly with all the people. And I know I can understand from the number of people who are there in our WhatsApp group and who are attending this meeting. I know he has made a lot of friends and all around the world. So, see, actually, we started in 1981 with MOD echocardiogram. 78, we bought a machine, MOD echo. And when I retired from Madras Medical College, we had a three-dimensional echocardiogram system, IE33. And we are mostly self-taught, and the three people who helped us was Nat, Vijay, and Nanda. You showed one picture, and which was taken in the conference. All the three were there. So that was in a New Delhi conference. And Vijay and Nat used to attend all the meetings and teachers. And I learned the first hemodynamics about the using the Doppler from Vijay and Nat. So that was the first introduction of myself to the Doppler hemodynamics, etc. And everybody has told about that, how good he is and all that. I don't know whether you know his emotional side. I was very surprised. It's actually one of the Goa meeting, he came. He was supposed to give a talk on MRI. It's on some subject. He talked only for 2 minutes on that subject. The rest of the 15 minutes, he was talking about Stefano Di Castro. So he was the Italian friend who died. He actually 2 or 3 years before he came to India, when Nat came to India, he brought 3 or 4 Italian friends who were doing echocardiography, and we had a closed meeting in Chennai. So, and 15 minutes he was talking about all the emails between him and Stefano, and how he was advising to get him investigated for the back pain. He ignored, and it was a very advanced problem. And he was also showing the puppy, which there were the twin puppy. One puppy was here, the Stephen took, and another one was given to the Knight's family. So all those stories and all that. I have never seen him talking so much about these things. That's what that was very surprised actually. And the other thing, Dr. Carey was telling about the mistakes. He owns his mistakes. Once he showed a case of mitral valve replacement, the intraoperative echo, and asked us what it is. After coming off bypass, it was the LV is not getting filled. So he asked us what it was. We didn't know that, but the mitral valve was put on the wrong side. So it was kept with that disc opening to the left atrium. So that's why the when the left ATM got filled, the LV was not getting filled. So that was actually he told that the surgeon made a mistake and we had to redo it. After he actually told this case, another person told this has happened to me also. So that's what he always owns the mistakes, and he inspires the younger persons very much. And sometimes he brings his relatives. He brought once a relative person who is doing his MBBS to the conference. So that gives a lot of inspiration for the younger students. And also when he came to Chennai, he visited 3 days continuously our department. And before itself, he told us, asked all the PGs to prepare some topic and present. Each one of them should present a topic. And he was moderating the session. The students were so inspired by his presence and his talks, etc. So that's what I can share with you. Thank you, Madhvi, for inviting us to this meeting.
Thank you. I think many of us have traveled. This was a trip in 2017. It was for my birthday. I had Maurizio is here, and I know we all went on this amazing trip. And you saw the dances that he was doing, and camel rides. This is a funny story I wanted to share. Was we took a train from Jaipur to Udaipur, I believe, when we while we were traveling. We were in an air-conditioned compartment, which was extremely cold. And Nat was feeling freezing, and he asked, like, is there a jacket or something warm? And I don't think we had anything, but I had just purchased a long skirt, a new long skirt, an Indian skirt, and I was just teasingly saying, all I have is this. And he, of course, and he is such a sport. He took the skirt and he wrapped it around for the amusement of the entire compartment. They were just laughing because he's now here going around wearing a girl skirt. So that was Nat. Just spontaneous, funny, and just makes everybody laugh, and very, very generous. This is, I think, Nat's first office in Tufts. It had this open door policy, and that was his way of saying that he was always open for anybody who's seeking. Just that's signature Nat. This is still here in our imaging lab. We will probably keep this forever. And this part of it is, his research projects, how he was planning, and who the research students were. And you can see what he said: conventional wisdom, what, when, why, how, why, Nat. And you can see the specific aims and hypothesis rationale. So this has been there in our lab as a reminder of the legacy that he continues to have on us. Another thing which maybe many of you might not know, is Nat was always a creative, and I think we know he's creative, but he also actually painted. He did not like to sign this artwork, but he has artwork all over the Tufts Echo Lab across the wall. So I took these pictures. Lisa and I were last week. We were collecting these pictures so we could share. So these are actually Nat's paintings that he developed the interest in. I think watercolors later. So this is a dancer, and maybe if someone knows more about his interest in art, please just share with us. But these are all the paintings that are on the walls of the Tufts Echo Lab. There's a mother and a child.
Madhvi, if I can for a second, I can just give you a little insight into that. Nat had a medical student, I think a fourth year medical student with him, that was a phenomenal artist, just an amazing artist, just incredible artworks. And Nat was truly inspired by her. And once she left, he started to take up painting. And her works were just stunning. And Nat was truly moved by it. And that's what really inspired him to take up painting.
Thanks, Gary. What was the name of her? Or do you remember the name?
I honestly don't remember her. I remember her as being a young blonde girl who, she may have even been on consults with him. I'm not sure, but then made her way to the Echo Lab, and her artwork was he actually had one of her pictures in his office, and he probably took it with him to Hogue once he left Tufts.
And as you know, he was always a jokester. We found a picture of him clowning. That was also another signature trademark of his. And this is a famous pulpit in St. Wolfgang, where on the last day of the conference, the speakers would be invited to share some jokes, and some of them were bad jokes. And I have to share, like, as a faculty, a lot of the faculty would go and speak, share a funny joke. And I always was worried that Nat would call me to give a joke. So I started collecting a private list of jokes for myself, so I could, give share a funny joke with the crowd. But fortunately, he never called on me. Anyone here have anything to add?
This is actually Maranam Jokapos. Raj Kapoor has this dress with the nose thing. Maranam Joker. That was one of the famous movies before in India.
I could also add on this because Franco Falletra, and
Yes.
when he joined the faculty, he knew that his English was not very good, and so he started to find an English teacher in Lugano, and he told her, when I'm at that conference, probably I have to give a bad joke. So please give me training in good English and in bad jokes. This was Franco, yeah.
You can share a couple of things. Can you guys hear me?
Who says? Does someone say something?
It's Raj here.
Oh, hi, Raj. Yes, please. Yes.
Oh, it's getting late here in India and still kind of jet lag. So, but thank you, Madhavi, for putting this together. So many stories. I mean, we all know him in our own unique ways. I remember the very first meeting of Nat. It was along the corridor of the Euro Echo meeting. And the person, it was my mentor back in Echo, Roxy Senior, he said, "Oh, there's somebody you should try to meet, Nat Pandian. His name is Nat Pandian. He works at Tufts in Boston. You should meet him." This was when I was doing research with Roxy and in Contrast Echo. And at that time, I was keen to move to the US or interested to move to the US, although I had not figured out all the logistics. So I was waiting around the corridor. He was trying to finish a meeting. And then he finished the meeting. And then just walking out, he had to stop and talk to every single person. And of course, I could say that they were not talking anything related to Echo. It was all some jokes they were sharing. So I instantly loved the man just by his personality. And then I finally met him. I said, "Hey, my name is Raj. I'm a fellow doing research in England with interest in maybe pursuing further research in the US. This is year 2000, so exactly 25 years ago." And Roxy had warned me, Nat is an interesting character. That's all he told me. He's an interesting character, and I did not know what to expect. What struck me most was his brutal honesty. He said, "Raj, I can help you. You have to figure out how to get to the US. I can't help you with that." He was very upfront. Once you get to the US, I can guide you. I can show you, how to figure out the way. But you have to you have to first move to the US. That's your problem. I can't help you. And it was so upfront and honest. It was brutally honest, but he was to the point. And yes, I did move to Boston, and one of my first visits was to go visit him in Tufts, saying, "Hey, Dr. Pandian, remember me from Portugal? I'm here 4 years later in the US." And then he welcomed me. And one of our first conversations was his interest in my home state of Kerala. That was the very first conversation I had, and his interest in dosa. And he said, "My wife Kannagi, she makes dosa, but I would like to come to your place in Boston." So as soon as your wife joins, my wife was still in England, and I was commuting every third week to London. It was a crazy year for me, my first year, because my wife was still working in England. So and he said, "Make it a point when your wife moves here that you invite me for having dosa at your home." That meeting did not happen, unfortunately. But anyway, we stayed in touch. He was so generous, like many of you mentioned, introducing me. That's one thing that strikes me all the time was his interest in promoting the younger people and making them famous. That was an innate knack he had, and it's something that we can all learn and help the younger generation, because he had nothing to prove. That's just him. He had nothing to prove to anybody, and he was very authentic in his all his interactions. Anyone who has come across Nat knows that he doesn't bullshit. He's honest, and he's up to the point, and he is very helpful. So when I came to my promotion, the first person, I mean, without a doubt, I reached, "Hey Nat, I'm looking to go for my professorship." No problem. Within 2 hours, I'm not even kidding. I had his letter and a text. "Raj, your letter is ready. It's been sent." I mean, who in this world, when you ask for a letter, responds so promptly? I said, "Nat, the deadline is in 2 months' time." And he said, "No, it's done. I had time. It's done, and congrats." That was it. And he really wanted me to join the Wolfgang, I think the Vienna meeting. So he reached out to me saying, "This is a wonderful meeting. You should join. It happens." I think it was, maybe correct me, I never could attend. Those are my kind of regrets, that I could never attend for a variety of reasons. But he was gracious enough to reach out to me. We have a nice faculty. I think this is alternate years, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Maybe someone can correct me. He said, "Sunil will be there. There's a lot of good people. You should join." Then of course, we have shared a lot of meetings, and we talk about Kerala all the time, which is my home state. But anyway, I'll stop there. I can keep going. A lot of you guys have shared. But again, for me, it is his honesty and his helpful nature and generosity to help bring up the younger generation to everyone else, so that you feel that there's no source of intimidation. You feel welcome in any group at whatever level you are. I'll stop there. Thanks so much. Thank you again for this opportunity. It's late here in India, so I may head to bed. Thanks.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for that sharing. I have a video, but I don't know if it is you're getting the audio or not. Let me know if you don't hear the audio, then I'll. This is a video from St. Wolfgang. I guess I really can't see it, I think, right? Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Cannot see it.
I don't think they're coming through, but they're shared in the shared folder, some of the videos from St. Wolfgang. And, maybe here I see Jose Arbana Morale. And, all the young people at St. Wolfgang, he would definitely have very senior experienced professors, but also the younger group that was part of his mission was also to make sure that the next generation was joining in as well. And I think that is such an important part of something that for us to learn and carry forward as well. This is not sure where this is. Someone shared this one. This says here, oh, this is at Hogue Conference. Jen is here again from Hogue Conference. Another St. Wolfgang conference. Lisa, do you remember when this is? This seems to be quite some years ago.
I think it's been so long ago. I think Dr. Nestor probably remembers which year. Hi, Ricky.
Hi.
But Dr. Nestor, do you remember which year this was? It was quite a long time ago.
No,
2015, maybe?
We had
think-
more than 10 times the meeting. I cannot identify the year. There's
Yeah.
Mauricio is there, and Ian
Maurizio
is
is Ian
yeah.
is there.
Yeah.
Jeff Cohen is here.
And Jeff Cohen is there.
Fred Kobe, who is also at Tufts,
Yeah,
is
Frank
here.
Cohen. Yes. But
And Stefano is
yeah,
behind.
maybe it's one of the later ones. So
Yeah, I think I remember having some pictures from 2015. So this is the 2015
yeah.
meeting, and it was
Yes,
pretty
yes.
remarkable with the stage and everything.
Yeah. This is again, I think, in the Hope Conference, more a couple of years ago. Ramdas, I don't know. I see Dr. Narula here, probably in India. Bob Siegel and Dr. Pai. Again, this is I see Alberto is here.
Alberto.
Is he still here on our meeting? He must have. Maurizio, do you want to say anything? I see you're here, and I
Yeah, I can say because this I know this view very well because it's from the terrace of our house at the Wolfgang Lake. So this is also a nice memory for me. So afterwards, we have to talk a little bit how to get these wonderful pictures and photographs as memory. Yeah, this is also from our house. Yeah.
Yeah, Fabiola.
Yeah, Fabiola and Petros on the right.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Bernhard Mann.
Yeah, I think Fabiola is in the Zoom call.
Yes,
Fabiola.
Yes, I'm here. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Madavi and everybody of you for such a precious sharing moment. And I feel so fortunate to be part of this group. And I'm really willing to keep it for the future because I'm definitely sure that he would like to see us to continue sharing knowledges. He taught us this, and I hope we can maintain our solid friendship and cooperation. So thank you for this moment, and looking forward to meet you all in his memory.
Thank you, Fabiola. And this is Domenico is here.
Yeah,
Jos Roland and Domenico. And
who are the others?
the right-hand side, I don't know.
And this is?
Jos Roland.
Jos Roland, yes. Jos Roland and Domenico, Nat, and the right, I don't know. Bernard and Lisa, yeah.
Yeah, there was a road trip to ASC, and he proposed it, and he said, "Why don't we have a road trip from Boston to Canada?" And so I said, "Okay, I'm game." And Bernardo was game. At the border, the Border Patrol asked us, "Okay, there's an Indian, a German, and an Indonesian. Where are you going, and what are you doing?" So I think they looked at us very suspicious, but it was a lovely road trip.
So this is Nicole Orr, who is a former fellow at Tufts and someone also very close to Nat. And we worked together in New York, and she and Nat were instrumental for me to move to Tufts in my current role. Krasmira is here. I don't know if she's on the Zoom call, but she shared some of these pictures. Dr. Nanda and Kanta.
Wait, Maurizio is still here. He
yeah.
remember this moment. Maurizio.
Oh yeah, let's Maurizio. Are you there?
He's muted. Unmute, Maurizio.
You have to unmute, Maurizio. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Many thanks, Madhvi, for this sharing moment. It's a very emotional experience to see pictures, to see videos of Nat. He was very close, my family, to me. I knew him in Russia. I remember in 2014 in a meeting where we were invited by the professor in Russia, and for that moment we started a friendship, a very strong friendship, a very close friendship, and then we met many times. Everywhere in the US, in Boston, I was invited by him at his home with my son in 2014. And then I remember that great trip you showed before in Rajasthan with you, with your friend, but I don't remember the name of your friend, Madhvi.
Prashanti. Her name is Prashanti.
Prashanti, right, Prashanti. It was a great experience. We went to the desert, you remember, on the camel. It was a great experience with him. I remember in my heart, and I want to remember Nat with a verb he pronounces many times, and it was enjoy. He said very often enjoy life, enjoy your family, enjoy your job, enjoy your son. I want to remember Nat with this verb, enjoy. Then thanks you all for this very emotional moment. And I hope to see you very soon everywhere. I don't know where, maybe in some conference in the world, but thanks for this moment, Madhvi. Thanks.
Thank you, Maurizio. Thank
Maybe
you for
in
that.
Boston, right, Madhvi? Maybe in Boston.
Yes, and maybe in I think I'll where there's a memorial being planned for spring, so with the more details will come through. Just a couple more pictures. This is from Dr. Nitin Burkale, who sent from India. This is a picture from Kenya. Nila, while living in Kenya, he asked me, do you know anyone in Kenya? Because he is such a consummate, passionate teacher. Even though he had gone there for a family visit, he wanted to connect locally with the universities. And this is my co-fellow who was at that time, Harun Otieno. He was in Kenya. And I connected to him, and of course, they had a wonderful session conference. And his willingness and desire to teach was just everywhere. Wherever he would go, he would find opportunities to teach. This, I think, pictures that Raj sent. A couple more from St. Wolfgang. Are you able to hear this? Are you able to hear this?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
We see.
Let me. I think let me actually. I think what I have to do is probably just take off my speaker and.
But if you post it, Madhvi, everybody can see it.
How about now?
No.
No, okay. I will post this one. This is I think this is something that we all want to like really keep cherish it. It's in the group and also in the shared folder. But where he is saying he's giving thanks to an average life, but average journey. That's what he said. But of course, as we all know, Nat's journey was nothing average. He is a very special person, and I think there's so much we all can carry forward his legacy and his generosity and his passion for teaching and for really finding out his curiosity, finding out what it really is, and his courage to speak whatever is he thinks was the truth. And I think just so many wonderful qualities. And of course, we saw the other human fun side of him as well. Wanted to share this message from Nila. She sent it. This session hopefully is being recorded. I'll share it with her. And she said, we appreciate all the messages, love, and support more than we can say. We ask that you all continue to share stories, anecdotes, and photos of Dad. They have made us laugh, cry, and feel so loved. We know the Echo community is also grieving. Our family shares your pain and thanks you all so much from the bottom of our hearts for enriching Dad's life. We are heartbroken and hold all these memories so dear.
Thank you.
And this is the plan is to have a spring memorial for Nat in Boston. And once we have the dates, I'll share it in the Echo group. And of course, all of you it would be a wonderful homage to Nat and his legacy if you can all make it. And we'll be more in touch as the dates become confirmed. This is the fireplace. If you had been to Nat's home in Laguna Niguel, he has this wonderful fireplace and many fireside chats that were happening around it. So let's keep Nat's spirit and fire alive in us and through us. I don't know if anybody else wanted to share anything. If everyone had an opportunity to speak, whoever wanted to talk, please. I think I'm not hearing anything. But thank you all for joining. And I think collectively it makes us process Nat's loss. I mean, it's irreplaceable, but he is alive very much in us and will continue to live through us.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madhavi. Thank you very much.
Good to see you all.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thanks, Bertold.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye.